Alright, so I started with creating the stones first. For the cornerstones, I created the basic cylindrical shape. Then for creating the other stones, I used vertex extrusion and created the shape. Then I used fill tool to fill the polygons in between. The vertex count needs to be even for the fill tool to work. After creating all the basic stone shapes, I used the one-click damage add-on to create a edge damage for all these stones. I used the free version OCD Lite. So it is really simple. You just click and make damage. You can choose the amount and scale from here and just click apply. Then I use Smart UV project to create automatic UVs. And for the texture, I used this rock texture from Ambient CD. Then for creating little bit color variation in these stones, I duplicated the material and used the color mix node to create different colors. Then for creating the details on the stones, I created a texture image and added it to a bump node and added the bump to normal. And then I directly texture painted the bump details on it. Then to add a little bit of moss detail over these stones, I used this moss texture from Blender Kit. So basically I copied the whole material setup inside the stone material like this, and then I used noise texture with color ramp to mix these two together. Alright, so then to create the movement of these stones, I created a basic geometry node setup. So I put all these rocks in a collection, and with this collection I translated these rocks as instance. I only used the Z value to translate these up, and then I created a mesh circle and used geometry proximity to control the movement from center to outwards. And then I created keyframes for the radius. So when the circle moves with the proximity of the edges, the stones moves up and down. For creating the magic type of effect over the stones, I used this video file. I got this from a keying explosion video from YouTube. So basically I added a simple plane in circular shape, and with the combination of little bit of scaling, I created a material with that video file and used the alpha blend to create the alpha clip like this. And finally added this color ramp to the emission. On the same plane, I also added this basic particle system to create these small particles. Alright, so then to create the tree, I created another basic geometry node setup. So I took this basic curve, and then in the geometry node, I created these 4 curved circles with a noise little bit, and then I use the curve to mesh node with this set curve tilt node. So this node allows us to create a tilt. So from here we can control the tilt value. I also use these capture attribute nodes to automatically create the UV, and then I use this trim curve node to control the growth. With the same approach, I created these other smaller branches and these top ones, and used the same trim curve method and keyed the value to create these animations. I created this root object with the skin modifier approach by extruding the vertex, and then remeshed it and simply UV'd it and applied the material. Then I created this stone structure with very basic shapes, and again I used a stone material from Blender Kit. For adding the details, I used the same bump map painting technique. Then for creating the IVs over it, I tried using this add-on, IV Pen. It's a very good add-on, but I didn't end up using it because I wanted a customized solution. So I only used the leaves from that add-on, and I used my old geometry node setup to create it. So with this setup, I can simply draw the IVs on top of this surface. For creating the dust trail effect, I created this basic dust patch image, and I used it on a simple plane. I just added this on alpha with a color ramp, and then I used simple particle system, and here I rendered this object, and then I animated this. Similarly, for creating the top trail type of effect, I painted this simple image in Krita and then imported it, created a sample material in Blender, applied the alpha and emission values. Then I created this simple path, and with the trail object, I added a curve modifier to move it through this path. And then I keyed the basic location values for this plane to move it along the path. I also keyed this color ramp position value to make it disappear in the end. And finally, I added some more particle effects, like these smaller ones at each of these trees, and this bigger one in the center for leaves. Added some lights, and finally added these rocks and grounds around it. Alright, so this is how I created this basic scene. And as always, this file is available to download freely, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.